There was a time when the smartest hockey coaches told their players to stop attacking, stop skating, and protect the middle of the ice like their season depended on it. And it worked. It won games. It frustrated superstars. It turned average teams into nightmares. But in today's NHL, that same idea could get you buried before the second period. Because hockey did not just get faster, it changed completely. The rules changed, the players changed, the goalies changed, the equipment changed, the way teams study the game changed. Even the way we understand a good chance and a bad chance is different now. So when we look back at old hockey tactics, the point is not to say that coaches from the past were wrong or stupid. They were not. A lot of those tactics were brilliant for their time. But hockey is like any sport. A strategy only works if the environment allows it to work. A tactic that wins in one era can become a disaster in another. And that is what makes this so interesting. Some systems that once helped teams win playoff rounds, shut down superstars, and control games would now destroy a modern NHL team from the inside. They would kill the team's speed. They would give away possession. They would put too much pressure on the defense. They would force the goalie to survive instead of letting the team actually play. So today, let's look at old hockey tactics that used to win games, but in today's NHL, could absolutely ruin a team. Let's start with the most obvious one, the old school neutral zone trap. If you watched hockey in the 1990s or early 2000s, you know exactly what this looked like. A team would sit back in the neutral zone, stack bodies between the blue lines, and basically say, "You are not skating through us." The goal was simple: slow the game down, take away the middle, force the other team to dump the puck, wait for mistakes, and when the opponent got impatient, turn that mistake into a counterattack. In the right era, this was brutal. It was not pretty, but it was effective. The New Jersey Devils became the team most people associate with this kind of hockey. They were disciplined, patient, structured, and incredibly hard to play against. And back then, the trap made sense. The game was slower. There was more obstruction. Defensemen could hold, hook, clutch, grab, and interfere much more than they can today. If a fast forward tried to skate through the neutral zone, he might have a stick in his hands, a body in his lane, and no penalty call coming. So if your team could defend the middle, wait, and counterattack, you could beat more talented teams. But today, if you play a passive trap for too long, modern NHL teams will pick you apart. The reason is simple. Today's players are too skilled and too fast. Defensemen move the puck better than ever. Even third-pair defensemen can make a clean first pass under pressure. Forwards know how to stretch the ice. Teams use quick regroup plays. They swing low, change sides, attack with speed, and come at you in layers. If you just sit back and wait, you are not controlling the game anymore. You are giving the other team time to reset. Modern teams do not just skate blindly into a trap. They pull it apart, they pass back, they change the angle, they attack the weak side, they use speed through the middle, or chip the puck behind you with support already coming. And if your team spends the whole game standing still in the neutral zone, eventually your players stop attacking. They stop creating. They become reactive. That is the danger. The trap used to make teams look disciplined. Today, if used as your main identity, it can make a team look scared. Now, let's talk about another classic, dump and chase. For decades, this was one of the safest ways to play hockey. Can't enter the zone cleanly? Dump it in. Defenseman standing at the blue line? Dump it in. Need to avoid a turnover? Dump it in. Then send your forwards after it, hit the defenseman, win the battle, and start cycling the puck below the goal line. And to be clear, dump and chase is not dead. Modern teams still use it. Good teams use it all the time. But there is a huge difference between a smart dump in and building your entire offense around giving the puck away. In older hockey, dumping the puck in was often seen as the responsible play. You did not want to make a dangerous pass at the blue line. You did not want a turnover going the other way, so you put the puck deep and trusted your forecheck. That made sense when the game was more physical, when defensemen had less time, and when puck retrieval was more about winning a wrestling match along the boards. But today, if you dump the puck in without speed, without support, and without a plan, you are basically handing possession to the other team. Modern NHL defensemen are too good. They get back quickly. They shoulder check. They read pressure. They make escape moves. They reverse the puck. They use the net as protection. And if the goalie can handle the puck, even worse for the forecheck. A bad dump in today can become an easy breakout in 3 seconds. That is why controlled zone entries are so valuable. When a player carries the puck into the offensive zone with control, the team has options. They can pass, they can shoot, they can delay, they can create east-west movement, they can force defenders to back up. But if every attack becomes dump it in and hope, your offense becomes predictable. You stop forcing defenders to make hard decisions. You stop attacking with speed through the middle. You stop using your most skilled players as creators and start using them as puck chasers. Again, dump and chase is still useful. If the opponent's defense is tired, dump it in. If you have speed and support, dump it in. If the blue line is completely blocked, dump it in. But if your whole offensive system is just giving the puck away and trying to win it back, today's NHL will punish you. Because modern hockey rewards possession. And if you keep voluntarily giving up possession, you are playing uphill all night. There was also a time when intimidation was not just part of hockey. For some teams, it was the system. The idea was simple. Make the other team uncomfortable. Hit everyone, finish every check, start scrums after whistles, put fear into skilled players. Make the opponent think twice before going into the corner or crossing the middle of the ice. And honestly, it worked. In older eras, physical punishment could change an entire series. If a star player knew he was going to get crushed every time he touched the puck, it affected him. If defensemen knew a heavy forechecker was coming, they moved the puck faster than they wanted to. If a team could drag the game into chaos, it could make skill less important. But today, physicality by itself is not enough. You cannot just build a team around being big and mean, because if those players cannot skate, they will be exposed. The modern NHL is still physical. Nobody should pretend hitting disappeared. Playoff hockey is still hard. Board battles still matter. Net front battles still matter. A clean hit can still change momentum. But physicality has to come with speed, timing, and discipline. If your team is chasing hits instead of controlling the puck, you are late. If your players are taking extra steps to finish checks, they are out of position. If your physical game turns into penalties, modern power plays will destroy you. And that is the key difference. In the past, a team might accept a few penalties if it meant setting a tone. Today, giving elite players power play time is like handing them free offense. Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Nathan MacKinnon, David Pastrnak, Nikita Kucherov. You cannot give players like that repeated chances with extra space. So the old idea of, we will beat them up until they stop playing, does not work the same way. Modern hockey still needs toughness, but toughness now means winning battles, absorbing pressure, protecting the puck, blocking shots, getting inside position, and staying disciplined. Hitting is a tool. It cannot be the whole toolbox. A team that only tries to intimidate will spend the game tired, late, and short-handed. Another old tactic that can destroy a modern team is relying on the goalie to survive everything. For a long time, coaches would say, "We kept them to the outside." And sometimes that was true. If the other team took 35 shots but most of them came from the boards or the point, the coach could live with it. The goalie saw the puck. The defense cleared rebounds. The team protected the slot. But modern hockey has changed how we think about shots. It is not just about how many shots a team allows. It is about what kind of shots they allow. A point shot with no screen is one thing. A cross-ice pass through the slot is completely different. A low-danger wrist shot from the wall is not the same as a rebound chance at the top of the crease. And today's offenses are designed to break goalies down. They do not just shoot from anywhere and hope. They move the puck side to side. They make the goalie move. They create screens. They hunt rebounds. They attack seams. They use low to high passes and then crash the net. So if your defensive strategy is basically, let our goalie handle it, you are playing with fire. Even great goalies can only survive so much. If a team spends shift after shift in its own zone, the defenders get tired. They stop winning races. They lose inside position. They cannot clear the crease. They start reaching instead of skating. And eventually, even if the first shot is not dangerous, the second or third chance is. That is why modern defensive hockey is not just about collapsing around the net. It is about preventing clean entries, pressuring the puck, breaking plays early, winning possession, and exiting the zone. Old school defense often meant protecting the house and blocking shots. Modern defense still needs that, but it also needs pressure. Because if you let skilled teams hold the puck for too long, they will find the seam. A goalie can steal a game, but if your entire system depends on the goalie stealing every game, you do not have a system. You have a problem. Another tactic that used to make sense, carrying a fourth line that did not really need to play hockey. That sounds harsh, but for a long time, it was true. Many NHL teams had players whose main job was not to score, create, or drive play. Their job was to fight, hit, protect stars, and survive a few minutes per night. If the fourth line could dump the puck in, throw a hit, maybe start a fight, and not get scored on too badly, that was acceptable. But in today's NHL, that can destroy a team's depth. The game is too fast now. If your fourth line cannot skate, opponents will target it. If your fourth line cannot break the puck out, it will get trapped. If your fourth line cannot pressure on the forecheck, the other team will exit easily. If your fourth line takes bad penalties, it can swing a game. Modern championship teams need contributions from all four lines. That does not mean every player has to be a superstar. But even bottom six forwards need to play with pace. They need to close gaps. They need to win pucks. They need to make simple plays under pressure. They need to forecheck with structure. They need to defend without panicking. Look at how many playoff games are decided by depth players. A third-line winger wins a board battle. A fourth-line center kills a key penalty. A depth forward scores off a rebound. A bottom-pair defenseman makes the right first pass under pressure. That is modern winning hockey. Depth is not just something you hide until the stars come back on the ice. Depth is a weapon. So the old model of having one or two players who are only there for intimidation does not work the same way anymore. If a player cannot keep up, the other team will find him. And in a league this fast, one weak link can break the whole chain. Now let's talk about one of the most common old school habits, glass and out. The defenseman is under pressure. He gets the puck in the corner. Instead of making a pass, he fires it hard off the glass and out of the zone. For years, coaches loved this. It was safe. It was simple. It avoided the dangerous turnover in front of the net. And sometimes it is still the right play. If you are exhausted under heavy pressure and have no option, yes, get the puck out. Nobody wants a cute turnover in the slot. But if glass and out becomes your main breakout, today's NHL will eat you alive. Because most of the time, you are not actually solving the problem. You are just giving the puck back. Modern teams are too good at regrouping. Defensemen hold the blue line better. Forwards reload quickly. Neutral zone pressure is organized. If you just throw the puck away, the opponent comes right back at you. And now your tired players have to defend again. A modern breakout needs support. The center swings low. The weak side winger becomes an option. The defenseman reads pressure. The team uses short passes, quick touches, and speed. The goal is not just to escape the zone. The goal is to escape with control. Because if you break out with control, you can attack with speed. If you just chip it out, you might get a line change, but you probably do not create anything. And over a full game, that matters. Teams that cannot break the puck out spend too much time defending. Teams that spend too much time defending take penalties. Teams that take penalties give up goals. It all connects. That is why puck-moving defensemen are so valuable now. It is not only about offense, it is about survival. A defenseman who can make the first pass can save the entire shift. A team that cannot exit the zone cleanly is not playing modern hockey. It is just trying to breathe. So, were these old tactics bad? No. That is the important part. The neutral zone trap was not stupid. Dump and chase was not stupid. Physical intimidation was not stupid. Collapsing around the goalie was not stupid. Carrying tough players was not stupid. Firing the puck off the glass was not stupid. They were answers to a different version of hockey. A slower game. A more physical game. A game with more obstruction. A game where space was harder to find, but skill was also harder to express. Those tactics worked because the NHL allowed them to work. But today's NHL is different. The best teams do not just defend. They pressure. They do not just dump the puck. They choose when to dump it. They do not just hit. They hit with purpose. They do not just rely on the goalie. They protect him by controlling the puck. They do not hide the fourth line. They use it. They do not just survive breakouts. They turn breakouts into attacks. That is the evolution of hockey. The game did not become soft. It became faster, smarter, and less forgiving. And that is why copying the past can be so dangerous. Because the tactics that once made a team look disciplined can now make it look slow. The tactics that once protected a lead can now trap a team in its own zone. The tactics that once frustrated superstars can now give those superstars more time, more space, and more power plays. In hockey, tradition matters, but timing matters more. A great tactic in the wrong era is not a great tactic anymore. It is a weakness. And in today's NHL, if a team plays like it is still 20 or 30 years in the past, the result is usually the same. They do not control the game. They chase it.